Good day, everyone. Myself, Reddy. I'll be taking the Sujog OBPAS training for architects and technical persons. So the way I've structured this training is I have divided the entire training videos into three sections. One is OBPAS training resources. Uh, we'll go through the entire resource file that we are providing all the architects and technical persons, and which one to use for which type of projects and everything. The second part is the drawing preparation. This will cover the videos which tells how to prepare the OBPAS drawings and how to get it scrutinized and how to prepare the layer polygons, dimensions, color codes, etc. The third is the application creation and submission part, wherein you will find videos that describes how to go about and create the building permit application, how to submit your OC application or addition and alteration, how to pay the fees and everything. So everything related to the Sujok platform, the application creation, you will find it in the third file. So let's start off with the OBPAS training resources. I have shared all these resources with all the architects and technical persons. However, if you do not have them, you can go to the Sujog homepage. If you see sujog.odisha.gov.in, this is the official homepage, the website for Sujog platform. You can go about and see all the services that is present here. But if you go and select the building permission approval, you'll be able to view and download all the references files that I have provided, and you can click on it, download, and open these respective PDFs. So just going back, these are the 8 documents that we have shared for any kind of OBPAS references. So to start off with, we'll open the drawing manual and see what it actually is. So the drawing manual is a guideline and it tells how an architect or technical person will prepare the OBPAS and get it scrutinized. So if you go to the table of content, we are providing the general guidelines, unit settings and drawings, layer for drawing preparation, layer color as per occupancy, and layer plan info. So these will be the set of guidelines that you have to follow every time when you are preparing the OBPAS drawing. So I'll just skip to the main part, that is general guidelines. These are the set of guidelines that you have to keep in mind every time when you open the CAD drawing and start preparing. All these unit settings and the way to save the file, everything, this has to be exactly the same. If any kind of deviation is present in accordance with these set of guidelines or formats that we have mentioned, there is a chance that your drawing will get rejected or it will not undergo the scrutiny part. So just follow the guidelines that is mentioned here and match it exactly as it is mentioned here according to the drawing. So if you see the first part, the drawing has to be in 1:1 scale and it should be in meters. So in OBPAS, we only accept meter drawings. If you are preparing the drawing in feet, it won't be accepted here. So just keep in mind the scale is 1:1 and the entire drawing is made in meters. Then obviously we have set of units, and the settings in CAD, this has to match exactly what is written here. It has to be in meter, the unit length should be decimal, unit angle should be decimal degrees, and the precision to be used is 0.00. So as I've mentioned, any deviation from the units or the format that is mentioned here might get your drawing rejected. Now coming to the second part, the most important part, this is the set of layers that you have to prepare on top of your building drawing, the base drawing. And these are the polygons or dimensions that will help the scrutiny engine to identify the different components of your project. So for example, if you are making a plot boundary, you will use the layer name called plot underscore boundary, and you will make a polygon on top of your base drawing. And the layer name should be exactly matching whatever we have mentioned in the drawing manual. There should not be any spelling mistakes or any continuation to this part, putting any numbers or any values. It has to match exactly the way it is written here. Also, the layer color code is mentioned. This is an index color code, not a RGB value. So while preparing the individual layers, just keep in mind that you provide the value as 70 for plot boundary, and it should be in index. Similarly, we have different set of polylines and dimensions and color codes. Each of them is to be drawn, and it should be placed on top of the base drawing. And we have different categories where these polylines will fall in. So for example, there is an entire section for site plan. These are the set of polygons that you have to make on top of your building base drawing, and it should be present in the site plan. Similarly, we also have a section for floor plans. These are the set of polylines, the polygons or dimension that you have to prepare on top of your floor plan. And then if you see, we have a section completely dedicated to floor plan and sectional elevation. So in case you are making a polygon for passage, you have to draw the dimension of passage corridor in sectional elevation. You also have to draw the dimension of the width of the passage corridor in floor plan. So only after you provide these two individual components, your passage will get read in OBPAS. So if you use the layer name called passage, and if you use the color code 1, and you have to make the passage height in sectional elevation, and if then in floor plan you will use the same layer name, but the color code will be 2, and you will have to make the width in the floor plan for your passage. So similarly, we have the last section, that is sectional elevation or building elevation. These are the set of polygons high dimension that you have to prepare in the sectional elevation part. So just go through each of these, and the way to make them is also mentioned here. Just follow the same step and you can start preparing your drawing. Just one thing to keep in mind is only make the polygons or the layer names that you actually require in your project. Not all polylines are mandatorily required in your project. As per the bylaws, whichever polygons or whichever component is mandatorily required for your project, you have to make only those polygons. If your project does not have a plinth height or upper basement height, or there is no basement present, then you don't have to bring in the dimensions or the layer names of basement. So in that case, you'll create issues with your drawing, and the system will start reading the basement individually. So only bring in layers that you actually require to make the drawing. Then you can see that there's a section dedicated to the type of projects you are making. So the way OBPAS scrutinizes your drawing is it identifies what kind of project it is, and it compares to the bylaws, Odisha bylaws, and identifies all the provisions that are mentioned in the bylaws based on the project type. So if you see, we have dedicated residential. Under residential, we have around 15 different sub-occupancies. You can select which of these sub-occupancy is applicable to your project. Then we have commercial, public, semi-public, public utility, industrial, education, transportation, and agriculture. So just identify what is the type of project you are making and use the color code respectively. So for example, if you are making a project plotted detached, the normal G+1 or G+2 project, you'll use the color code 11 wherever it is written based on sub-occupancy color code. So if you see in the floor plan section, there is a layer name called block 1, floor 0, 1, whatever it is, built up area. And this layer is used to calculate your FAR component. So if you see in the color code section, it is written as per sub-occupancy type. So wherever this statement is written in the drawing manual, you have to use the color code for your respective project. So in this case, if I'm making a residential project, I'll use the color code 11 for residential detached. We'll go through them individually when we'll actually start preparing the drawing. Right now, I'm going to the last part, that is the plan info. So the plan info is a set of questions or declarations that we ask that you require to give the answers for each of them. So it is important that you answer each of these questions independently, and it has to be correct, because the entire scrutiny will change based on the answers that you give here. And even if this statement or any declaration is not applicable to you, you can provide the value as NA, but each of these questions should be answered here. And finally, under the drawing manual, you have frequently asked questions. You can refer them if you are facing any kind of issues. We have tried to capture most of the common issues that are being faced in while preparing drawings or any such issues. So just go through them and refer to the questions that we have answered here. Now coming to the second part, this is the drawing template. This is nothing but the CAD version of the drawing manual that we have prepared. So either you can create your layer names and everything individually, or you can use our reference, that is Odisha OBPAS drawing template. And I'll just show you. It is a CAD version of the entire polygons that we have mentioned in drawing manual. So if you see here, we have already prepared the plan info for you. What you can do is you can directly copy it from here, from the drawing template, and just paste it in your base drawing, and then start answering each of these questions. Similarly, if you want to prepare any polygons, either you can create those specifically by creating the layer properties and naming it based on the drawing manual, or you can directly copy paste the polygons that we have shared in the reference document. Paste it into your drawing, prepare the polygon that you require based on your project, and just match the properties. I'll just use the command MA and match it accordingly. So right now we have a layer name called plot underscore boundary. It has a color code 7. And after that, just delete the layer that you have brought in from the drawing template. So you have these two options. Either you can create your own layers, or you can bring in the layers from the drawing template. So we have tried to capture all the information or the common type of projects, and any kind of layer name that is mentioned in the drawing manual, we have included here. And similarly, like the drawing manual, we have divided into the different sections that you have to make, like layers to be drawn on site plan, and layers to be drawn on the floor plan, and subsequently sectional elevation as such. So if you see the FAR component, because residential detached is the most common type of project from here, we have provided the reference polylines for that project. It has a color code 11, and if you see the layer name, it is block 1, floor 0, built up area. Similarly, we have floor 1, then floor 2, floor 3, and floor 4. And then if you have basement, you can use -1 or -2 according to your project. If you have a project which has a floor more than 4, then you'll obviously have to create your own layer, just name it floor 5, 6, whatever it is. For reference, we have provided all the layers that you have to prepare in your drawing for the preparation of your OBPAS drawing. So just make sure, just bring in only the layers that you actually require in your project and that you require to submit your application and everything. You don't need to bring in the entire drawing template and paste it in your base drawing, because that will create issues and your drawing will not get scrutinized. So I'll just repeat that, just bring in the layers that you actually require to make your drawing. Now coming to the third reference document that we have shared, this is the project risk criteria. So these are the risk types that is happening in Odisha. Either your project could be a low risk building or it could be an other than low risk building. So for your project to be considered as a low risk building, your project has to meet all these 5 criteria. If it does not meet even one of these criteria, then your project will be considered as other than low risk. So what are the criteria? The first one is your project has to be on a plot which is part of the layout approved by the authority or developed and allotted by the government or statutory body, or is a final plot in town planning scheme or development scheme. So if this statement is true for your project, then you will provide the value as yes. So if you see in the plan info, we have provided the same question here. And based on your answer, yes or no, the system will identify whether your project is applicable to the first statement or not. So if your project is, if the statement is true for your project, just provide the value as yes. If not, then you can provide the value no. Coming to the second criteria, the size of the plot should be less than 500 square meters. The height should be less than 10. It should be without a basement and should be coming under the residential category. So if you are meeting all these 5, your project will be considered as low risk. Otherwise, it is considered as other than low risk. Then I've provided the reference drawings that you can go through while preparing your drawing. These I've included 3 drawings that are system accepted. If you use it for your reference, the drawing scrutiny will give an acceptance for each of the bylaw provisions. So you can just refer to it and see how the layers have been made and how it is polygons and dimensions where it has been kept. So I've included 3 projects: residential detached, a commercial project, and an apartment and housing project. Then I have also provided the practice file. These are the same files but without the OBPAS layers. So for your practice, you can just spend some time and create the OBPAS layers on top of these practice files that we have shared. Then coming to the important document called the user manual for architects and technical person. Under the user manual, you will find 2 documents. One is for the architect and technical person. The other is for your client or the landowner, or also called the citizen. So I'll just open the user manual for architect and technical person. So this document shows the step-by-step things that you have to do for creation of any application or payment of any fees or anything that is related to the platform itself, to the Sujog website. Everything is covered here. So if you see, we have an introduction section, general functions, how to register into the system, what is the home page, what are the components of home page, how you can edit your profile. Then coming to the important part, how to register yourself as an architect technical person, how to do the building auto scrutiny, and how to apply for building permit and all. So under this section, if you see, we have provided each of the screenshots and step-by-step procedures on how to go about. So just follow these screenshot and steps, and you'll be able to create your application. We'll be going through all of them when under the third section, when we'll actually go about and prepare an application. Similarly, we have a document for the client. Uh, these are the set of things that he or she from the citizen aspect he has to do while approving your application. The second last document that you see, this is the fee components that are coming in for Sujog. So we have the application fees, that is called the scrutiny fees, and based on your project applicability, there is permit fees also. So application fees is the set of fees that you have to pay while submitting your application, and these are the fee components that you have to pay while after your application is approved. And in order to download your building permit, you have to pay these fees. All the logics and information that you require, it is written here. And the last is the NOCs. So in NOCs, under OBPAS, there are 5 NOCs that we are integrating with each of these NOC departments. So any of these 5 NOCs that you require moving forward will be part of OBPAS itself. You don't have to go to these authorities individually. A copy of your application with all the required details will be submitted to individual authorities as per your project applicability. But the remaining NOCs, if they are applicable to your project, the ones that I've showed in brown color, these, if it is applicable to your project, you have to get it from the department and upload it during your document upload part. So just to say again, these 5 NOCs will be part of the OBPAS and the rest will be captured as a document upload. So the 5 NOCs are NOC from Airport Authority, NMA for the Centrally Protected Monument, NOC from Fire Services, and NOC from Central Groundwater Authority, and NOC from Coastal Regulations. So these are the set of references that we have shared with everyone. You can go through them and then start preparing your drawing. In the next section, we'll see how to create an OBPAS drawing.